times in December we tried it.
Welcome back to another episode of A Day in a Sports Life with my second host, Jonavin. How you doing today, man?
Good, man. What we got on the palette today?
So today we're going to be talking about two segments. Our first segment is about the topic of, what are the benefits of being a sports athlete? And our second topic will be talking about the wildcard weekend that took place last weekend and also get prepared for the divisional round, which starts tomorrow with two matchups. Tomorrow we have the Green Bay Packers going into San Francisco to take on the 49ers. We also have the Baltimore Ravens hosting the Houston Texans. Both are going to be good matchups, possible Super Bowl opponents playing tomorrow in the game with the 49ers and the Ravens. It takes place. We'll see what happens. I got my money on the Ravens and I got my money on the San Francisco 49ers, but I wouldn't be opposed to any upsets. What I've witnessed last week with Jordan Love was very impressive. Got to congratulate him on his first playoff victory, knocking off the Cowboys.
Shout out the boy. J Love sent them cowgirl fans home.
And then we also
Good fashion. Almost put up a 50 burger.
What was my my record last week, I believe, was 2-4. Yeah, it was treacherous. I had Buffalo winning.
I had Buffalo winning.
I might have been 1-5 actually.
I had Texas winning, so I had Cleveland winning.
No, you had Cleveland winning with me.
So. I said I wanted Texans to win,
yeah.
But Cleveland, I did say Cleveland. I had Green Bay winning for sure. For sure.
You did.
And I had the Eagles losing. For sure.
You did.
For sure.
Yeah, I went.
For sure.
Ooh. All-time low. 1-5 last week. Just the Bills came through for me. The Eagles and the Cowboys folded. But we'll debunk those matchups later on in the show. To start things off, though, I want to ask you a question. You've been a sports athlete. You only played football, right?
Bro, when I was a kid, I used to play baseball, football, and basketball, but I stopped playing baseball in middle school, and I stopped playing basketball like freshman year of high school. So I guess you could probably say football.
Okay. I've only played basketball my 6th grade year. I did track. I've also played rugby too in college. That was a hard sport to play right there, man.
Yeah, listen, them rugby boys, y'all be hitting for real. I ain't really that much of a contact sport type of guy.
My shoulder popped out 3 times playing in the game. I have a historic photo of me tackling this dude on the sideline, but nobody knows that when I tackled him and I fell on my shoulder was just pulled out, just hanging.
Oh no.
And then I'm on top of him. I got the fans, Hobart Statesman, William Smith grads, everybody cheering, but
cheering you on next to, and then little do they know you're drawing out of socket.
My John, just out of socket hanging, and I just had to pop it back in.
You popped it in yourself?
Yeah, 3 times.
Each time you popped it back in yourself? Boy.
Hey, I had to get back into the game, man. I had that mentality, I just couldn't give up. It was that grit, just like continued to overcome adversity, just keep playing through the injury. Because after that night, I definitely was hurt. I couldn't move my shoulder the next day. I just was stiff in my dorm room. But to ask you this question, though, you say you play multiple sports. Now, what are the benefits of being an athlete, would you say, that you've gained from being an athlete throughout your time elementary, middle school, high school, college, your whole life? Like, what lessons have you learned from being an athlete?
Well, I two answers come to mind answering that question.
Okay.
And I think number one of the number one things being on a sports team or playing a sport teaches you is how to like communicate with people, but not in a sense like communication between people that you're comfortable with communicating with, but like the ability to communicate with people you're comfortable with, but also communicating through difficult situations, which I feel like is important because the more like the more you get older, the more you find yourself having to work with other people more, whether it's like with work, whether it's like just trying to simply get things done within your family. Like you gotta learn how to like communicate. You can't be afraid to communicate. So I feel like just I'm not gonna say it makes you a necessarily great communicator, but it kind of gets you like used to being in situations where you gotta communicate and voice your opinion on certain things, but also where you gotta be able to listen and receive feedback and also listen and receive direction, which is also very important, even more important than it is being able to communicate, being able to listen and take direction. So that's pretty much the number one thing, which is I feel like that's a skill that's like universal and that can translate pretty much to any field, any relationship that you have. But another skill that being on a sports team kind of like has taught me or has like I've realized that I've learned through sports, something I realized I learned through sports is organization, which is very important. Like being on a sports team, like in high school, when I was in high school, and this is not even talking about college schedule because anybody that played like college sports, they know like the schedule of a college athlete is very demanding and it's very like I used to have this joke all the time, like in college, like I'm on the clock, like 24/7. Like whenever I used to like describe like with the stuff that I was going through in school to people, I'd be like, it's like that TV show 24 where all you hear throughout the show is do, right. But like in high school, we was forced to it was bad.
I
And
understand.
right. In high school, we was forced like everybody in my high school had to play a sport and or had to do an extracurricular activity in every season,
Hmm.
which kind of going back on it kind of conditions you because if you do play sports in high school, it's not, I mean, if you do play sports in college, it's not like how it is in middle school and in high school where you only play one season. You really play all year round.
Yes.
So like being organized in a sense of like knowing what you have to do, planning out what you want to do and what you need to do, but also just being aware of time and being on schedule. That type of organization is also important. So like I think those two are the most important skills that I've pretty much learned through sports because like being organized and learning how to communicate, learning how to listen is stuff that I use every day, even when I don't necessarily even want to use those type of skills.
And that plays a hand with time management. Would you say in college were you good with time management, balancing your work life and also being an athlete on campus?
I mean, to be honest, I wasn't at my peak form at all. It
Mm,
was something that I was aware of and I tried hard to be good at for sure. And I think being an athlete makes you more aware of that type of stuff, which is good to be young and aware of it and to, be working towards being someone that is proficient at time management. But I wasn't good at it for surely, no. But I definitely remember times that like it was something that I cared about and it's something that I wanted from myself a lot of times, even now. but I wasn't really the best at time management, but I would say that I was aware of it and I tried my best to, you know, set out goals for myself and accomplish those goals throughout the day. But also I tried my hardest to, you know, get things that I need to get done and also do things that I wanted to do, which is also another form of time management that you kind of never are proficient at, or you never are the best at it. Like you're never great at it, but you can always want to work towards being great at it or being better at it at the very least.
I understand that. Now, for the people in the audience, young athletes or people who are aspiring to be athletes, what's some advice you would give to them to encourage them to possibly partake in this type of activity?
Well, I always would promote kids doing sports or any extracurricular activity, but sports in general, because sports teams, especially on a middle school level, like a middle school and the beginning of high school level, because I feel like as a kid, those are the years where you've pretty much form your identity or you start to build your identity. You don't really form it until later down the line, but you start to build the basis of who you are.
Mm.
And like middle school and like the beginning of high school or majority of high school. And I definitely recommend kids to play sports because the sports teams are big for like they're 9 times out of 10, they might like depending on where you go, your sports population might outshine or outnumber the like non-sport population. With that being said, it's easy to find a group of people to connect with and then potentially find a group of people that you can actually be friends with, which I think is really important as you get like our age and once you get to college and once you get out of college, because the number one asset to have, or I'm not going to say number one asset, but a really important asset to have is like a network of people to reach out to and connect with and communicate with and to build relationship with, like in terms of whether it's jobs, trying to get jobs, trying to collaborate with other jobs and businesses, whether you're trying to grow your own personal brand or grow a brand that you're working for, like building connections and having a network of people to access to, you know, reach out to, whether you want to test a product, whether you want them to like, you know, get referrals from them, or whether you want to just simply, you know, have a friend to talk to. I feel like building a network of people is very important, and those type of skills you kind of keep working and building throughout your sports and athletic career. And it's easy to do so when you're already a part of a team or have been a part of a team.
I understand that, man. And that's something my dad always told me too. He said it's always about who you know and building that network out, making those important, just important bonds with people and connections and relationships. Establishing those relationships helps you out in the future because you don't know who knows somebody that can get you into the door or present you with an opportunity that is relevant to your experience, relevant to the things that you enjoy or are looking to take on as an endeavor. I definitely understand that. Now, I would just say, adding on to what you're saying, another thing that is a benefit of being a sports athlete or just being an athlete in general is something I practiced with myself. It was repetition equals consistency.
Mm-hmm.
That was, say, the analogy I was telling myself in my mind. The amount of times I rep something out, the amount of times I practice a certain routine, I'll be able to become consistent with it over time. And it specifically pertained to being a wide receiver on the football field. It was about learning the plays, practicing where to line up, how to catch the ball, the type of drills that we are running, and just the culmination of all those different specific techniques and things that build a receiver up to being dominant or just consistent in general. That's what allowed me to succeed my senior year. So I just kept running that through my head every single day. And it translates into the real world, the amount of times you practice something,
Mm-hmm.
getting to the rhythm, you start to remember and, it becomes second nature for you. So over time, you're going to become consistent with it, with anything you do. And that goes for just whatever you want to become. You can become consistent with it, but it all takes time and you have to keep practicing it out to understand what you're doing. So that was the biggest thing for me was repetition, continue to rep things out and practicing, continue to practice, Don't don't look over the little things. Continue to just work on the little things and keep building those building blocks up to become consistent over time.
Yeah, that's definitely a great point. And I think that's definitely like a hidden gem, like being an athlete, like you don't really think about how many times you practice something or go over something or how many times you have gone over something. But we've all remembered the time that we started a new skill, especially in sports, like you learn a new route or learn a new scheme, and how the beginning of it, like you're very green, you don't really know as much until that one moment comes where you simply just have everything clicking for you, where everything is just a second nature type of thing, as opposed to you thinking about it on the field. And that
Mm-hmm.
definitely translate directly into everyday life, because a lot of people have big aspirations and dreams. And like, I think we don't necessarily mind having to work extra long or work extensively on something, because like in our minds it's already stuff that we've done already, like even when we were younger with harder things. So whereas most people have to build up that college, who aren't necessarily from that same kind of life that we used to live, in terms of having to practice every single day, early in the morning and in the afternoons. And that's actually a great point.
No, that's something I live by. And it made me a better athlete. And over time, when I was able to translate that into my academics, I started to take it more seriously. It made me a better student, just a better person in general. And you continue to do this in your daily life, you're going to see a lot of improvements, a lot of changes, a lot of life altering circumstances that you will put yourself in, which is a benefit. And that's a huge benefit of being an athlete, I would say.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
Now, we're going to take a little break. Once we return back, we're going to delve into what transpired last week on wildcard weekend. A couple of disasters, a couple of triumphs, and then we'll also make some predictions for the divisional round. So we will be tapped in. We'll be back with you soon. This is a day in a sports life with my host, Jonathan. Welcome back to a day in a sports life with my co-host, Jonavin. In this next segment, we'll be talking about the NFL wildcard recaps. Last weekend, a lot of stuff has transpired, man, and I was very surprised about what took place. I didn't think the Cowboys would collapse the way they did. I didn't think the Eagles would underperform the way they did.
Listen,
And both teams got their ass whooped badly by the
my,
Bucks and the Packers. We'll get to those matchups though later in this segment, but starting it off, man, Houston Texans, they impressed us. CJ
shout
Stroud,
out to the boy. Shout out to the boy number 7, CJ Stroud.
he went in. Listen to this though about the Houston Texans. So they made the announcement in 2000 that Houston and Texas will be getting an NFL team. And that was the Texans. In 2002, that's when they had their inaugural season.
2002 for real?
Yes.
Oh, because it used to be the Oilers. Fair enough.
Yes. Now, listen to this. They have been in 11 playoff games since 2002, and their record is 5-6. In the wild card round alone, they are 5-2. So they have a pretty impressive stint in the
It's
wild,
not bad. It's a lot better than what I would expect.
right? But here's where the kicker comes in. In the divisional round, they're 0-4.
Uh,
So they can never get over that hump, and they have never made it to the AFC Championship game. But here it is. They have an opportunity tomorrow against the Ravens to possibly make it to their first ever AFC Championship game. And imagine they do it with a rookie quarterback like CJ Stroud and a
beating a Lamar
rookie,
Jackson.
a rookie head coach in D'Amico Ryans. This would be just probably one of the best seasons that the Houston Texans will ever have. Because if you can make it to
Their
the
history.
AFC Championship, that's your best season in your history, right?
Mm-hmm.
The stats in this game, CJ Stroud went 16 of 21, 274 yards, 3 touchdowns. He took no sacks.
That boy nice, man. That boy nice.
Very poised in the pocket. But the other guy on the other side was Joe Flacco. Finally making his return back to the playoffs. He had a really nice 5-game stint with the Browns, but ultimately his playoff dreams stalled in his return versus the Texans. Things that was helping the Texans in this matchup, though, was receivers like Nico Collins, Brevin Jordan, and also the running back Devin Singletary, who was from South Florida. I went to high school with him, and he was a former Bills running back too. He rushed for 66 yards, 1 touchdown on 13 carries. But
Mm.
Nico Collins, 6 receptions, 96 yards, a touchdown. Brevin Jordan had himself 1 reception for 76 yards and a tutty. The players were balling out, and I feel like these players, you're like, who are they? Nico, though, is having himself a 1,000-yard season. A player like Brevin Jordan and these other people, you're thinking to yourselves, how are they able to, how are we able to see the best sides of their attributes that they're able to provide? How are you
It's
able
the
to,
coaching.
are you able to exploit these athletes and show the the best sides of their athletic abilities, showcase that. I like to say, like you said, it's the coaching of D'Amico Ryans, but
The
it's also
D'Amico
CJ
Ryan.
Stroud being able to allow these players to thrive.
It starts with the culture. It starts with the culture. Now, when you bring in a guy like D'Amico Ryan, who is
Mhm.
a former Philadelphia Eagles, we'll take claim to his success. We'll gladly take
So
that
what?
claim.
After Houston, he went to
Yeah, he
Philadelphia.
played for the Eagles for like a little bit,
Okay.
but he was a Philadelphia Eagle linebacker after Houston. You bring in guys like D'Amico Ryans, bringing in the heart and soul of Houston. You bring in a CJ Stroud, came in with a little bit of chip on his shoulder. He's really humble.
Mm-hmm.
He's really a guy that loves to work. You could tell through his early success. It's just a culture thing, honestly. And that's one thing that I'm happy for because prior to this year, shoot, I look at the Houston Texans and I'm thinking they gonna get cooked. I don't care who they playing.
I thought they was winning under 5 games this year. But
But as you can see, you change that culture around like he did, and they come out and they getting these wins. Did you see the play I seen on Instagram? D'Amico Ryans was watching film on the iPad with one of the linebackers, and he was telling him, like, yo, if you do this, da, 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 you go and get a pick. I promise you. I promise you. And I'm watching the play. I'm like, bruh, the linebacker didn't even move at all. He just stood there, watched the whole play happen. He broke on the ball and just took it to the crib. Like that gotta be the embodiment of the Houston Texans right there. And it's crazy that they got that play on film.
just a great mentor, a great leader in D'Amico Ryans. I didn't see that film play right there, but damn, being able to, take what he did on the field and translate that into his coaching style. That is amazing.
It's crazy because the whole time I'm thinking like he really is playing the game for his players.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, but no, this is all seriousness because a lot of times, like, you'll get a situation where you got a coach who like is just giving out the game plan. They don't have certain things that like will make the game. They don't try to make the game easier for their players.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to implement what their game plan is or what they think is going to work, but they don't necessarily think about making the game easier for the players.
Right.
And when you got coaches like D'Amico Ryans, a Kyle Shanahan, a Harbaugh, both of them, I guarantee you these are the same type of coaches who win year in and year out, but they're not just trying to implement their schemes. They're trying to look at the talent that they have, assess the talent, and make the game easier for their talent so that they can go produce. And that was just watching that clip in my mind. I'm like, he is literally playing a game for him. But not only is he playing the game for him, the players are turning around and executing his same vision for the game, which
They're
is very
listening.
rare.
They're listening to all of his steps and everything he's telling them, man. That's great.
Very rare. And I'm happy for him 9 times out of 10. It's like you can't be mad. You can't be mad at a guy like that. You can't be mad at an organization like that. Because listen, my team, we're bad. We are very bad. And I wish we had a D'Amico Ryans.
Y'all just need a couple more pieces to really bring this team apart. And it might be getting rid of, was it Nick Sirianni?
Listen, Nick Sirianni, you gotta go. Johnson, the OC, you gotta go. The defensive coordinator, you gotta go. It's just you gotta
You
go.
think Nick gotta go? You think he's ruined the culture in Philadelphia in just one season that he's finished 11-7 in?
I'm not gonna say he ruined the culture. I just think it's an unfortunate situation when you have two really good coordinators, offensive coordinator, the head coach of the Colts, and the head coach of the Cardinals, who used to be our defense coordinator. When you lose two key pieces to your puzzle and to your Super Bowl run, and then replacing them with people who aren't ready, it's not necessarily he ruined the culture. It's just at this point, the players probably look at his decision to make these two or three people, because we had two defensive coordinators this year. He probably viewing though that decision being made as a flawed decision and losing trust in their coach. I feel like that's when a team starts losing trust in their coach. Is like it's nothing can fix that. And plus, I don't want to get into a rant about the Eagles, but I don't understand how we let CJ Gardner Johnson leave to go play playoff football
Mm-hmm.
in Detroit. Because what? You don't want to pay this man? We have Kevin Byard on the team, who I've yet to see him make a tackle in a Philadelphia Eagle uniform. I've never seen him make a tackle yet.
Oh man,
But we got
that was
CJ
a
Gardner
controversial
Johnson is
pickup.
out there laying body to body. He's body to body in the playoffs against the Rams, like body to body. And then we got Kevin Byard, we got Blankership. Boy, if we don't get out of here with a Blankership, Bradbury, why are you still in the league? Why are you still in the league, James Bradbury? Darius Slay, what are you doing?
Talent plummeted for y'all. He was a good DB for the New York Giants. I can say that for sure.
And listen, bro.
But we're gonna get to the Eagles and Bucks
We
game.
gonna get to him.
Let's talk about how the Miami Dolphins froze in Kansas City. This game right here, it's in the writing. The writing's on the wall, okay? Right. The writing is on the wall. Mike McDaniels, I just felt like he didn't play to his players' strengths. He played scared throughout the game. I know it was cold, but You listen to this stat now. All
Let me
right.
listen.
Time of possession, Dolphins had 25 minutes, 55 seconds. Kansas City Chiefs were rolling with 34 minutes. Now, in that time with 34 minutes, Chiefs went 4 for 4 on field goals, but they were 2 and 6 in the red zone. So we understand that the Miami Dolphins defense had this bend but don't break defensive style in this game, but it was the offensive side that wasn't answering, that wasn't showing up when the time was needed. Now they had a touchdown with Tyreek Hill in the second quarter, 53-yard touchdown. But other than that, Miami Dolphins didn't even enter into the red zone throughout the entire game. Mike McDaniels really struggled to exploit and just attack this Kansas City Chiefs defense, and he wasn't moving vertically down the field. The only play he did that in was Tyreek Hill, but other than that, he wasn't really moving vertical. He was moving horizontally with the offense, doing a lot of bubble screens. But when you're looking at the run play styles of this game, Dolphins had 18 rushes total for 76 yards. Chiefs went 34 rushes for 147 yards and a touchdown. And that's all because of the hard running style of Isaiah Pacheco, who is just a tough player, a very tenacious athlete, man. He is tough. He went for 89 yards in this game off of 24 carries and a touchdown. That's a lot of carries for just only 89 yards, but still, just the fact that he was able to make way with the amount of attempts he was getting.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, proved to be certain reasons why the Chiefs were able to just hold off the Dolphins.
Here's my thing about that. And I think, and I hate to keep talking about the Eagles, but in the case of the Eagles and the Dolphins,
What's the correlations?
well, for one, I think playoff football, you gotta possess the ball. Like, I don't care how you do it. You gotta keep the clock running and you gotta possess the ball. And that's two things that the Dolphins and the Eagles didn't do. But another thing that you gotta do is be able to run the football, which I kind of put that under the same category as possessing the football.
Mm-hmm.
And on paper, 18 yards for 75 rushes, it looked worse than that. You feel me? Because I don't remember the Dolphins running the ball 18 times. And I know the Eagles ain't run the ball 18 times. But like you said, I think in both of those games, it was really just poor play calling. Very poor play calling. It's like bad execution, but the execution and the players were not helped at all by the play calling.
They
And
looked
it's
checked out by the first quarter. They looked checked out.
Like, a part of me wants to be like, Tua is a bum, Jalen Hurts is a bum, and I want to say that about both of them.
I can't yet.
But it's like watching the games. It's like, okay, the actual plays that were called were not great plays at all, which kind of makes it tough on gauging the team and like how to like the players. It's hard. Like, it's easy to say the players didn't come to play.
Mm-hmm.
But it's harder for us to watch the game thoroughly and be like, these play calls are bad. So I feel like in both situations, the play calling was not great at all, but also the effort from the team itself also just isn't questioned. And you never want to sit after a game and have to question the effort of a team.
You sitting out there as a fan watching your team play, it's demoralizing.
It's just
Now,
bad.
it's a mixture of both the players' efforts and also the play calling on the coach. Mike McDaniels has to take full responsibility of the way his team performed last weekend. And he's going to need to take a good long look in the mirror because he did that 2 weeks in a row.
And it's like, that's another thing. I love Mike McDaniels. And I love Mike McDaniels. He's great personality. I think his offensive mind is amazing. But it's like, we gotta start holding these people accountable for not getting the job done every time it comes down to you getting the job done and you not getting the job done. Because this is not This is not nothing new for Miami Dolphins. It's not nothing new for Mike McDaniels. It's not nothing new for the Eagles. You feel me? So it's like we gotta hold everybody accountable, and we can't just point the finger. But we definitely gotta hold these coaches accountable just as much, because we already gonna hold Tua accountable. We already gonna hold the O-line accountable. We already gonna hold the Jalen Hurts accountable. We gotta start holding the coaches accountable, because y'all guarantee we watch these games back. Like, we watch them back, you're gonna see a lot of dumb play calls. Like, why are we throwing bubbles right now? We might as well just run the ball.
In the fourth quarter too.
You feel me?
Why are you throwing bubbles in the fourth quarter when you need to attack this team?
And we haven't had a lead all game, and we're still throwing bubbles. It makes no
Haven't
sense.
even gotten to the red zone. Before we move on to this Packers and Cowboys joust, one player who did spring up onto the surface, and everybody needs to have an eye for him next year, or even going later into the playoffs game against Bills. We have Rashee Rice emerged as a number one threat, at least a number two threat to Travis Kelce.
That boy Travis was looking bad last game.
8 receptions, 130 yards, 1 touchdown. For Travis, though, he did have 3 drops in the first half. So he was struggling, but he finished with 71 yards and 7 receptions. But I feel like Travis Kelce is going to bounce back. He's going to have
for sure.
He has to in Kansas City. They're going to have to turn to him. They're going to have to turn to Rashee Rice to really get this offense going in the right direction, the way that they were able to manage and just dominate the Dolphins. They're going to have to do a little bit more against this Bills team. But let's talk about that other team in the NFC East. Not the team in Pennsylvania, but the team in Texas. Mm-hmm. How do you put up this type of performance? The Packers steamrolled the Cowboys 48-32. Jordan Love, first playoff game as the starter for the Dallas Cowboys, first ever playoff game. And the Packers didn't make the playoffs last year in Aaron Rodgers' exit season, and they finally get back there this season. I didn't expect the Packers to make the playoffs, nor did I expect Jordan Love to put up the type of performance he has in the last month, the last quarter of the season, to really get this team into the playoffs, to propel the Packers back into the postseason. His stats this game, he had a hat trick, 3 touchdowns he passed for, 272 yards through the air, 16 of 21. His biggest star at the receiver position was Romeo Doubs.
double
R. 6
R.
receptions, 151 yards receiving, and 1 touchdown. And you should see him on the sideline too. He's so humble.
He wasn't even hype.
Yeah, everyone's patting him on his back like, man, you're doing a great job. And he's just sitting there like, job's not done. We still got more to go after. And tomorrow they got a hard fight against the San Francisco 49ers. I hope it's not
a smoke show.
I really do hope it's a good game. But man, what they did to the Cowboys, I think it's motivating and encourages the fans to believe in their team and what they have going forward. 27-0 in the second quarter. It took the Cowboys to score on the last play, no time left, to get some points in the first half. Literally, it took them 30 minutes to score seven points. CeeDee Lamb looked checked out. He looked scared.
Listen,
he looked like a shell of himself. Mike McCarthy keeps his job though after this type of performance. 4 seasons with the Cowboys. 3 seasons he's went over 10 wins, 12 wins, and he's only had 1 win to show of this.
Listen, man, the Cowboys looked bad. They are who we thought they were. And that's every year. Now, was I expecting them to look this bad? No, not really.
Probably not.
And shout out to Green Bay. Huge shout out to Green Bay, because for the most part, they've been a team that kind of flew under the radar.
They did.
They came in on national television and put up them numbers, some big numbers. Shout out J Love. Here's my question for you.
Most points scored last week in the playoffs. What's the question?
If A-Rod wouldn't have been talking crazy about them boys, because last year A-Rod pretty much had the same receiving core -2. You feel me? And he ain't like the Romeo Dobbs.
He took Allen Lazard from them.
He ain't
Probably
like
to come back with free agent.
them boys at Green Bay. If A-Rod would still be on Green Bay, do you think they would have waxed the Cowboys like they did?
Now, I think they probably wouldn't have been in the same position they were in last year, but I don't know if they're going to be able to recreate this moment. I feel like their team chemistry, everything was going stale just because the spotlight was on Aaron Rodgers and it was overshadowing this young up and coming quarterback that you had. I think what he's done this year is that he's built a new chemistry with his team. And the one veteran on this offensive side is Aaron Jones. I feel like he's the back
Oh,
of this offense. He had a hat trick, 3 touchdowns on the ground.
3 yards.
I mean, he went ham with them. And
Career
also,
leader in rushing yards versus the Cowboys. That's crazy.
that's bad, man.
Per game.
27,
Rushing yards per game.
27 is look. He went 118 yards on the ground too versus the Cowboys as well. Just I feel like he's a very important piece to this offense to just show that continuity going forward because they lose Rodgers, they lose that veteran mentor, they lose that veteran just
Presence.
captain, yeah, presence on the team. So you look to Aaron Jones to be that back, to be that person that you can rely on when you're in these type of games. But I feel like Jordan Love has shown just a new resurgence. He sprung life into this team. And now they're into this new chapter to where it's the Jordan Love era. We went through the Favre era. We went through the
Went through the
Rodgers.
Rodgers era.
Now here we are.
Time for a new regime,
Hey,
baby.
Jordan Love, mark my words, he is going to be in McDonald's commercials
Oh my.
by the end of the year. They all gonna be saying bye 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 bye.
I'm loving it.
I'm loving it.
He got to make it to the chip for that. Cause
You got
he's still in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I don't
Hey,
know how many people coming out there to shoot a commercial.
beat the 49ers, and I bet he got that deal.
Now, if he beat the
NIL,
49ers, then all right, he got it for sure.
you gonna get it, man. But
If he beat the 49ers, all right. But I don't know. If they beat the 49ers, does that make the Packers the favorite? Or are you still sitting at home thinking Detroit is the favorite?
if Detroit gets over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, at home, I would still want to say they're the favorites, but it would be hard.
Because that is the number one team.
It'd be a 50-50 matchup. That's a rivalry.
They would have beat the number 2 seed, right?
Yeah.
Cowboys number 2 seed.
And
they would have beat
the top 2
number 1 seed too.
Looking like a little 2011 New York Giants run.
Oh my God. I ain't trying to hear that.
Eli Manning, Victor Cruz. Oh, OC Menor, Justin
OC used to
APP,
cook the Eagles.
get themselves to the playoffs, and this is it right here. This is I'm seeing some writing on the wall that they might get it done.
I don't know, man.
We'll see though. This next matchup was for me game of the wild card, game of the weekend. It was the Detroit Lions versus the Los Angeles Rams.
Best game by far.
Stafford returning home to Detroit. But when he left that tunnel, he wasn't met with just celebration.
They were not loving it.
He was met. They were not loving it. I see what you did there. No, he was met with a lot of boos. And then following the boos was chants of "We want golf. We want golf." So Detroit, they drew the line. They said, Stafford, we don't give a damn what you did for us in the past because it didn't even culminate to a victory, a dub in the playoffs. But here we are with another opportunity. First playoff game at home. Do you understand that the last time this Detroit Lions team won a playoff game, it was 1992. They've been waiting for a long time. And in this
It's
game,
been a drought.
it's been a drought. Detroit Lions finally get their victory. Long overdue. 24-23. This was a battle. We had some historical moments in this game too as well. 10-minute mark where Puka Nacua, who already broken
Puka
two
was
records,
cooking.
broke two records in the regular season, breaks another
Broke
record.
another record.
That's three in one season. He had 181 yards receiving with a touchdown off of 9 receptions.
Yeah, no, Puka, he is a dog. I didn't get to watch much of his games this year, but watching him live, he's a special player. And I
He
don't
is.
know. He might be better than Cooper Cup was, but we gonna see.
He's a dog. And also on the other side, it was a duel this game. Matthew Stafford went 367 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns, but it was Goff on the other side with only 5 incompletions
Mm.
off of 27 attempts. He went 277 and a tutty. Amon-Ra St. Brown keeps proving to the committee, he's proving to the fan base why he didn't put me into the Pro Bowl. But
This is what
he gets an all-pro recognition.
this is what I have to say about that game. Love the game. It was super competitive up until the very end. But special shout out to Detroit getting the dub. But shout out to
It
Matthew
was
Stafford.
scary towards the end. Detroit could have lost.
Matthew Stafford, if he hasn't proven it already, he is a dog.
You talking about that one play?
Listen, boy.
I thought he was knocked out.
Boy,
I thought he was knocked
boy, eyes was rolled back to his head. I don't know what they gave him in that tunnel. But
out.
listen, Matthew Stafford, bro, you was a dog. And I know they probably was talking all type of boos in the stadium or cheers rather when they seen you went out. But you a dog, man. You came back in that game. Listen, man, that's a man that's really willing to die for
He probably is
what he
concussed.
believe in.
He's probably concussed.
He probably is
They
concussed
took him
right
through the
now.
protocols and they said, "Hey, listen, you're concussed, but we need you.
We need you because we about to
We
win.
need you."
Close to winning.
On some controversial Tua type stuff last year. Tua had multiple concussions, but they allowed him to finish the game. He finished the game because he has true grit. He can make it through. He's a tenacious spirit with himself. So
Boy,
he was able to get through, but they couldn't pull it out. I don't know why you punt the ball in that type of situation and give it back to the Detroit Lions, but they went with that. They try to believe in their defense, and their defense did not come through for them. In essence, they lose the game. This matchup, though, this is a quick one. Bills dog walking the Steelers.
dog walk.
But Mike Tomlin, you gotta take some good things with the bad. He continues his streak of 17 straight winning records each season. This one getting him 16 to 10-7. They finished 10-8. But he hasn't won a playoff game since 2016 playoffs versus the Chiefs, 18-16. That's 2016. Last time he's had a victory in the playoffs. He made it to the AFC Championship game that year, and they got whooped by the Patriots.
Listen, they got a lot of soul searching to do in Pittsburgh, and it started with the quarterback.
Do you know what happened the following season in 2017?
What happened?
They had a bye week. They were the number 2 seed.
And then they got dog walked.
Yes, they got walked by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Blake Bortles.
Yeah, but they had Jalen Ramsey, AJ Boy, Leonard. They had Calais
Hear
Campbell.
that?
Yeah, fair enough. Because Blake Bortles, I will say,
AB before he lost himself, he was in there turning up still with Pittsburgh. I think that was his last year.
Blake Bortles used to be when I used to watch Blake Bortles highlights in high school when I was getting ready for the games.
Yeah.
Used to have highlights, and he was one of my favorite college quarterbacks, but it didn't pan out in the league. So that's one that I got wrong. I thought he was going to be really good.
Man, I like that team a lot. Like I wanted the Jacksonville Jaguars to get that dub over the Patriots because to see the Jacksonville Jaguars in the Super Bowl that year would have been amazing. We didn't get it. That would have been who? That would have been Jaguars versus the Atlanta Falcons, I believe so. And maybe the Falcons get
Oh.
their win instead of
Yeah,
that
listen,
that just
you only win in that
catastrophe,
game. You only win in that
that
game with one man.
atrocious collapse. You said what?
You only win in that Super Bowl with one man on your team. That boy Tom Brady. You ain't winning it with nobody else.
I still feel bad for the Falcons, but hey, that's what you get. That's what you get right there. Now Julio thought he was gonna win one with y'all. That segues us
Oh
to
my
our next
God,
matchup.
man. Listen, bro.
Julio Jones
Listen, bro. I love Julio Jones, but
going back into the
whenever
receiver.
I love Julio Jones. He used to kill the Eagles. I remember because people don't know. I used to play for an all-star team, right? In Philly. And Matt Ryan is from Philadelphia. And I used to play with a lot of his siblings on that all-star team. And he used to play for the all-star team. The all-star team was at his high school.
Yeah.
So when Matt Ryan came to Philly, either his first year or second year, this is when we had Namdi Asomugha, wherever you at right now, bro. Don't ever come to the city, bro. Don't ever come back.
Come on, man. He's a Hollywood actor.
Listen, don't ever come to the back. Kerry Washington, she could come to the city. You stay where you at.
I don't even know if they're still married, but that's
Listen,
another story for another day.
that's another story for another day. Boy, Julio was running by Namdi. I will never forget this play ever. We was right at the Falcons touchdown, bro. Julio ran by Namdi Asomugha like he wasn't even there. And Julio got like 15, 20 yards on Namdi. Namdi turned around, started looking with his hands up. I'm like, you run. What are you doing? You already get cooked. Ain't no safety over there. What you
Well,
looking back for?
your DBs was mimicking Namdi Asomugha that last weekend on
And
Monday
listen,
night. This week on Monday night, they definitely was like that. Do
and
you
that's
understand? David Moore and Trey Palmer made your defense look silly.
listen, boy. Two things I hate to see. Julio in the slot in 2024 and Bradbury at corner in any year.
David Moore woke up and he tweeted,
I'm angry and then cooked.
I'm
Cooked
angry.
the Eagles.
And then cooked you guys. Baker, 22 of 36, 3 touchdowns in the air. He shines in his playoff victory, and a lot of people were doubting him. They were doubting his whole career.
I was one of them, and I was one of them.
They said when he went to the Panthers that he's done. His career is over. He's going to be a career backup quarterback. Well, I think he's going to be getting himself a nice little contract after the season. And he's going to be a quarterback for the Buccaneers for at least the foreseeable future.
Man, the Eagles have no identity whatsoever. Like last year, we built our whole existence on being able to run the ball and being able to get sacks and stop people with our defensive line and make plays on the defensive back end. We can't get open at receiver. We don't run the ball. And we cannot stop a soul on defense. We have no identity right now. And that hurts to watch. It really does.
That just stems from Nick Sirianni's inability to cultivate a roster together.
A winning culture.
And it's just his response to what has happened early in the season. You guys started off really good, 11-1, and now you finished the season 11-7, 10-1, but now you finish the season 11-7, 1-6 in your last 7 games. Only win coming against the New York Giants. So we'll see what's to tell with the Philadelphia Eagles going forward. Definitely the city of Philadelphia is in shambles right now.
Shambles.
You guys all were saying you're going to lose the game, and I didn't believe you.
Listen, I believed wholeheartedly we was not going to get close to winning the game. And we was at some point, but we was numerically. But in spirit and in actually who had the dogs, we had no chance in that game, especially after they scored
that
first touchdown. I knew it was over at that point.
We'll take a small break, but we'll be returning back with our NFL divisional round picks. And then we'll also follow it up with the coaching carousel. 3 big name coaches who are now on the chopping blocks looking for new jobs. Welcome back. Our next segment, we'll be talking about the NFL divisional round picks. There's only 4 games now. Well, Super Wildcard weekend, there were 6, and now we are down to 4 games, and we are down to 8 teams left in this playoff race. 4 in the AFC, 4 in the NFC. Starting off with our matchup tomorrow, Saturday, we have the Ravens taking on the Texans. Now, Lamar Jackson has only 1 playoff win. He's 1-3 in his playoff record, his postseason record. It's kind of unimpressive. Definitely needs to show up for everybody. He has never made it to the AFC Championship game, and this is a great opportunity for him. It's going to be a tricky test in front of him with the Houston Texans, but I think it's a hurdle that he can hop over. He can propel himself into this new category, this new upper echelon of quarterbacks, and be held in high regards as quarterbacks like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, we'll be talking about in a second. But this is an opportunity for him right now. Can he do it? Can the Ravens make it back to the AFC Championship game? Or will the Houston Texans make their first trip to the AFC Championship game? Which team you got going? Which storyline, which route, which trail are we taking? Is it the Ravens story or is it the Houston Texans story?
Listen, man.
Where are we going? Candyland.
It's hard betting against Houston again. It's hard. But this is my question. Because I'm going with the Ravens. I'm going with the Ravens all the way to the bowl game. But the last time, what's the coach from Michigan name? Is that Jim or is that John?
It's Jim.
When was the last time Jim made it to the championship? It was against it wasn't against Baltimore. It was against the Seahawks.
Same conference. It was Baltimore. 2012 Super Bowl. It was the Harbaugh Bowl.
It's the year of the Harbaughs this year. That's what I got to say, man. It's the year of the Harbaughs.
Yeah.
It's the year of the Harbaughs.
This is the storyline I'm intrigued to see. Maybe it's the year of the Michigans, the teams in Michigan to make it. Michigan already won the championship.
In Detroit.
And then Detroit goes on to play in the Super Bowl. I don't know if they're going to win it because, it could be Detroit versus Baltimore Ravens. It could be their opportunity.
And I like that. I think I definitely got Ravens for this game. But I am waiting to see the game of the playoffs. AFC side.
We're getting
that big boy Josh Allen versus that boy Patrick Mahomes.
That's the last game on the list. And that's going to be a really good one. That's the rivalry right there between those
that's
two.
What the people want to see.
Add Cincinnati Bengals to the mix. But those two teams are definitely starting up this new rivalry that we're seeing, that of the past, like the Ravens versus Steelers, Patriots versus Ravens, Patriots versus Steelers, Big Ben versus Tom Brady, and now it's Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. But you cannot count out Joe Burrow. The question is,
listen, man,
can Lamar get himself into that category? Can he enter the room? What are the keys to the victories for these two teams? For Baltimore, I'll start off with the keys for Baltimore is containing CJ Stroud. He was too comfortable last week. They're going to have to put some pressure on CJ Stroud and take him to the ground. Start using the formula you had for week 1, but that's the thing. The formula you had week 1, you didn't have tape. CJ Stroud, that shit's not going to work. What took place 3 months ago. This is a brand new team you're playing in this Houston Texans organization, and it's going to be a close matchup than people think, or it could be a blowout. In this matchup, I think Baltimore can have the formula. They will have it. And they're not going to show us what they did a couple years ago against the Titans when they had a bye week. I think they won't be sleeping. I think they're a woke beast that's ready to attack, and they will attack this Texans team in Baltimore.
I
Baltimore Ravens
just,
getting the W.
I just feel like it's
30,
Lamar's year,
30
man.
to 23.
Oh, you giving exact numbers.
Yes.
I think the Texans, they haven't been under the radar, but I feel like they might have been slept on week 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that was bad. I think the Baltimore Ravens will enter the game with a great level of respect for this team.
Mm-hmm.
And respectfully so. I think they're going to come out. It's not going to be a sleepwalk. They're not going to drag Houston, but I think it's going to be a pretty good game. But I mean, it's that boy Lamar, that boy OBJ, man. I think it's their year.
OBJ gets his second Super Bowl with 2 teams. Hey, New York Giants missing out. They sad.
Listen, man, y'all did my man Odell dirty, bro.
What
But I'm glad
happened?
he left the Philly because he was guaranteed 14. No, he was guaranteed 12 points against
The
the
universe returns
Eagles.
the favor, getting him his Super Bowl rings. I think
Exactly.
he's able to sit off on the sunset like Thanos and relax. But we'll
You
get
gotta
it.
you gotta watch the Marlon Humphreys interview on OBJ where he breaks down the infamous bowling trip.
I will watch that because I want to get his take on what happened. Does he throw Victor Cruz under the bus or he doesn't? He just relaxing? We gonna see. I'd have
Yeah,
to
I don't want to give you too
don't
much too.
spoil nothing.
Yeah,
Don't
I'll
spoil
just
nothing
let
because
you
I want
watch
to
it.
know what
I'll
happened
let
because
you
they was
watch it.
acting like some goofballs. And then they're gonna take their shirts off in Green Bay, knowing it's cold. And then Odell proceeds to drop
Right, dropped a
multiple
couple
balls.
passes.
Victor Cruz proceeds to get locked down, and then Sterling Shepard just
He never do anything. He never does.
nowhere to be found. That
He
trio
never does anything.
disappointed me in that entire game. And Eli sitting there throwing dimes. Pathetic. But moving on. Well, who do you have? I got the Ravens. Who's your team that
I got the
you
Ravens going to the bowl, the
All
Super
right.
Bowl.
I was 1-5 last week. We're gonna see what
Because
happens this week.
here's my thing. Here's my thing.
Damn.
The only thing that's stopping Baltimore is the Chiefs. Now, if they go and they see Josh Allen, I think they're gonna get right at Josh Allen. But if they see Patty Mahomes, a little bit different. A little bit different.
And this next matchup now, there's 2 teams I wouldn't mind them beating, win the Super Bowl against. I wouldn't mind Ravens beating the Bucks or the 49ers or the Packers. I just don't want to see a team like the Lions go and lose in the Super Bowl. I feel like that's just not
Fair
good.
enough.
They gonna be sad. The one time we finally make it out and win
They
a
get
playoff
smoked.
game, we get blown out in the Super Bowl by the Ravens. This is not right. That's what's gonna happen. That's gonna be a
I
story.
can't see them getting blown. They're coached too well, and they genuinely have dogs on their team. Like whatever we want. I didn't even
Upset
like Jared
alert.
Goff when he's coming in, but Jared Goff, he's low key a dog. He's a dog. Like
I have
low
faith in
key.
him, man. I had faith in him. I felt like the Rams gave up on him too early, but then again, you can't say anything about that. The Rams got themselves a Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford, something Goff wasn't able to do. But here's Goff's opportunity.
Opportunity.
They can be even. You knocked the Rams off last week. Go on, take your team to the NFC Championship game. And it all starts here. But before that, the question is, all right, Lions got the Bucks, but who will they be seeing if they can make it out of their game? We got the 49ers taking on the Packers now. The biggest thing is Purdy versus
I'm
Jordan
going to
Love.
surprise you. I'm going to surprise you with this one.
How? You want to listen to these stats, these season stats?
I
Purdy.
don't go ahead. I'm gonna let you say the stats, but my pick, I don't even care about the stats.
All right. Listen, man. Purdy, 4,200 yards this season. That's 40.
Uh-huh.
That's 4,280 yards passing.
MVP candidate. Uh-huh.
31 touchdowns, 11
Uh-huh.
INTs.
That's
Very
great.
similar to what Jordan Love did. That's Purdy stats. Jordan Love went 4,159 yards passing regular season,
Hmm.
32 TDs, 11 INTs.
That's great. That's
Very
great.
similar, very great, very impressive. I mean, he's proven a lot of people wrong in his first season as the Green Bay Packers quarterback. Now, 49ers are favored in this one by a lot, but there's a lot of big stakes in this game. Now, 49ers are a team that has lost their last two Super Bowls, 2012 and also in 2000 and want to say 1920 season versus the Chiefs. They gave the 10th
Let's
lead,
and let's not forget what them boys from Philly did to him last year.
and then the Phillies put the pause on them. Philly sent them home. So the 49ers have a lot to prove. They're a team that's not trying to get to the same place and have the same outcomes transpire. They need this win, but they also need to win next week. For me, they need a lot. I think that it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a close game. The way the Packers performed, I can see this one getting into the high 20s, possible 29, 27 game. The question is who gets the dub? I think the 49ers gets the dub here. It's it's a scary matchup seeing the momentum that the Packers have sprouted up out of nowhere because they have momentum. They're going into this game very confident in their players and their capabilities. So I do think that the Packers team, you cannot sleep on them. You gotta attack them early and put them out early because if you don't and you get yourselves into the fourth quarter, the second half of this game, it's gonna be a dogfight. Who are you taking in this one? You got the
Well, we
49ers
know.
versus the Packers.
Well, we know the Niners. They got Fred Warner.
Mm-hmm.
They got that dog Nicky Bosa.
Mm-hmm.
That dog Chase Young.
They got a nice
They
secondary.
got some boys on the back end. What's number one? Ward.
They got a nice secondary.
They got a dog in CJ McCaffrey, a big dog in Trent Williams. A big dog. They got Ayuk. They got
Shame on
Kittle.
Washington.
They got right. Shame on them. But he had to go up out there because they was bad. You can't waste the generational talent in Washington, D.C.
He
Talking
waited
y'all
2 years.
don't even know y'all don't even know what y'all want to call y'all team, but that's another story for another day.
Oh man.
They got Brandon Ayuk, dog, Debo, dog, Brock Purdy, who I believed was the best quarterback in the league for a majority of the football season.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with Green Bay. That boy, bop, 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 bop. I'm loving it for the win. Close one. Yes.
That was you pulled that one out of the
Yes,
ringer, out of the
indeed.
left
Y'all
part.
heard it.
You
Y'all
just
heard it
so
first.
so
Y'all heard it first.
you're boasting about the 49ers and then you picked the Packers.
Y'all heard it
Yeah.
here
All
first.
right.
I had to lead
All
up to
right.
tell
I
y'all
like
y'all
that though.
had on paper.
You got a lot
This
of
is my big
confidence in
prediction.
Jordan Love.
This is my big prediction. Matt LaFleur. You
Future
gotta call a good
McDonald's
game.
ambassador.
You gotta call a good game, Matt LaFleur. But I think the Niners are a really good team. But it's something about the Niners. They always fold.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I love Kyle Shanahan. I personally think I wish I would have played for a coach like Kyle Shanahan. I would have been 1,000 times better.
Mm-hmm.
And I love him personally as a coach. But I just think the Niners are going to either fold somehow or somebody's going to get injured. Hopefully it ain't Trent Williams because that's my dog. But
I got the 49ers in this game.
that's what I'm going with, man. And plus, honestly, I think it's a trend. Now, the gambling world might have a little different say in what I got to say, but a lot of the people who was favorites, they've been getting smoked. Like smoked. Like bad. Like bad.
Yeah,
And
you
I
not
don't think the
lying.
Niners gonna get smoked. I don't think they're gonna get smoked. But I think I'm thinking more so like a 27-24 type of game. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Still high scoring, but like
Game winning
that
field
last
goal.
play, right, that last
Mhm.
play type time. And
Okay.
I feel like Matt LeFleur, you gotta call a good game, man. You ain't got A-Rod this year. Like, y'all, this y'all only year, if you ask me. Because the boy
Oh,
is coming back.
they got more.
The boy is coming back next year, and he
This
coming for
is the
vengeance.
first year of Jordan Love's era. They have many more seasons going forward to
What
make
I
it
mean
right.
by that is this. It's not like I don't think they're gonna have a deep run in the playoffs next year. This is their deep run year. Then they gonna have come back, you know what I mean, first round, maybe get to the second round again, but they're not gonna get to that next level. This is their year to get to the next level. Ain't no tape on them.
I understand.
Next year is gonna get
Right.
harder and harder. Now, year 4, year 5, I can see them getting back to the pinnacle.
Mm-hmm.
Some A-Rod type of storyline. But at the end of the day, this is their year because guess what? That boy, that bad man, A-Rod, who was my Super Bowl pick for this year,
First of all,
KD,
they're on the other side of the
he
bracket.
coming.
I
He's
don't even
coming
think
back.
I don't
He's
even
coming
think they're
back
gonna
next
make
year.
it to that opportunity. They're not even gonna make it to the AFC Championship game, nonetheless. So yeah, A-Rod's coming back, but he got to worry about his next Achilles. Okay, you got to
But
worry
he's
about
seeing everything.
that.
He's sitting back and he's watching. Oh, there's more of a reason for him to get back fast, to come back and prove the world wrong. He better.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I got to say. I got
He
Green
needs
Bay
to.
beating the Niners. I got it. I'm
First
sorry.
upset. So who's gonna be facing the Packers in the NFC Championship game? Is it gonna be the Lions or the Bucks? It's gonna be
Oh, listen.
Baker or Stafford.
Listen, Baker. I ain't even really got anything too much nice to say. You did cook the team, but listen, it was nice while it lasted. Y'all not supposed to be here at all.
Mhm.
Yeah, how about this? Y'all proved that y'all was supposed to be here last week. But the Detroit Lions team, they stink. They are stink. And listen, the storyline is they coming with a crazy storyline that's way better than the Buck storyline.
I got the Lions going to the
So
Super Bowl.
I got the Lions going at least to semi. Now, if the Niners got to face up against the Lions, I don't know about Detroit making it to the chip. But if now Green Bay can beat these boys, then I could think, okay, Detroit making it to the championship is realistic. They making it, then they get stomped on. I can see it.
One thing
But
I will say is Dan Campbell is a very gutsy coach, and that could be detrimental to this team because the way they lost that game versus the Cowboys, please
I
don't have that type of
they
opportunity.
should have won though. They should have won that game though. They
They
should have won.
they got too fancy, and they confused the referees in that situation. So it's a toss up of what you do, but they in a sense
I
think
feel
about it,
you.
they try to it wasn't like they tried to cheat, but they did try to bend the
Do too
rule
much.
and
They try to do too much.
manipulate it, and that turned back on them. That backfired on the Lions. In this
But
match,
my thing is this: as a football player, you play offense like I play offense. You've been
mhm,
in situations where if you see a lineman go up to a referee, you're obviously check. Like, I don't understand why are
they
you not
sent the thing about it was is that they sent multiple
multiple
linemen.
people to
So
try to confuse the defense? But I feel
yeah,
like you could have just all strength. All right, one of y'all is eligible. Like, all right,
but
bet.
that's the thing. Even though like he determines which lineman is eligible and that lineman is eligible. So if another lineman's out there running and catching the ball, he's not even
It's
determined
just a
eligible.
decoy.
Yeah. So then that's how it's illegal play, illegal formation, illegal man touching the ball. And that's on the Lions. If you think about it, they could have just went out.
Nonetheless,
I would have just went out there and kicked the extra point and kept it moving, going to playoff, going to the overtime and make a play. But no, they want to get fancy. They want to trick the Cowboys and hey, look at it. It worked out in their favor. Here
worked
they are.
out in their favor because they ain't had to face that boy Jordan Love.
Nah. They
Week 1, because that boy ain't gonna be stopped.
nah, we've been talking about Cowboys making it on to the next round. But I'm taking the Lions in this matchup over the Buccaneers. I am. The yawn starts. Just to inform you guys, it's 1 a.m. in the morning right now, and we are just up, thriving.
You really working?
We out here working, We are not
Just to tie it back into what we talked about at the
nocturnal
beginning of
animals.
our episode: repetition, consistency, work ethic.
Oh yeah.
Feel me? All important rules and all important skills that we are displaying right now. Even though we are sitting here having a wonderful conversation, talking sports, talking entertainment, but at the end of the day, these are skills that we learn from the sport, from our craft, practicing our craft many a year.
Right.
So even though
you can get the work,
you catch us on here yawning, that's not going to stop us.
We keep going
from doing what we feel like we need to do and accomplishing the things that we need to do. So
we'll tell you though,
day comes full circle.
After this podcast, I will be getting slumbers. I will be sleep though.
Boy, listen.
I'm gonna get a snack in my system and then I will go to sleep. I might need 30 minutes to let that food digest, but
listen, boy, I'm about to prop up a TV show. Land of these heaters.
It takes me 30 minutes to find a TV show, so that might be my night. I gotta find something quick.
I got my joint open already. As soon as it's ready, right behind the right behind the Zoom.
I don't know what to cook as a late night snack. Either cookies or hot Cheetos. That's not a good late night snack. Hot Cheetos.
Listen, chips are my downfall right now. Like I eat like a couple of bags before I go to sleep, and that joint be killing me.
I just got some hot Cheetos this past week. I don't normally get chips. I just kind of stick with popcorn. But I just decided to get back into my old bag. I was like, let me get a bag of hot Cheetos. I got it in my cabinet, so I might have to peel that open after this.
Nothing wrong with that.
This is a nice transition though to we talking about get your popcorns ready. The game of the week. Who you got? You got the Chiefs. You got the Bills. This is it right here, man.
Oh man,
they could say winner of this game is gonna win the Super Bowl.
Hey, y'all know
rolling.
Man, go ahead.
I'm rolling with the area that I'm in.
I was gonna go with
New York. I'm in Geneva, New York. Okay, it's Bills Mafia over here, and early in the season, I didn't think this Bills team was gonna propel, was gonna make it out of the trenches, get themselves back in the race, dominate. They really did dominate, and they put the fear into these teams' eyes. I'm rolling with Josh Allen and the Bills. I like the Chiefs, but I got the Bills in this matchup. Now, here's the storyline. Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. They both are 3-3 at the moment.
Against each other?
Against each other. Listen, Josh Allen is 3-1 in the regular season. He's 0-2 in the postseason versus the Chiefs. What's gonna happen? Who's gonna take the lead in this nice little duel? Who's gonna get the 4-3? Who's gonna go to 3-4?
Listen, man, can we get a replay of the last time they played in the playoffs? That's all I asked. I just wanted to go back and forth. Josh Allen make a crazy play. Patty Mahomes make a crazy play. But I think in my heart, Josh Allen, this is time. It's his time.
It's time to settle this rivalry.
It's his time. If now is not his time, when will it ever be? Josh Allen? When will it ever be, Josh Allen?
But on the other side, you got CJ Stroud and Lamar waiting for him. So this is a really good weekend for football. And I'm very excited to see what happens with these 4 games, because with these 8 teams, there can be so many different matchups we can get. in the NFC and AFC championship. And we're just gonna have to sit back and wait and see.
And
Any
watch.
matchup we get, is gonna be good. Any team can win the Super Bowl right now. That's all I gotta say. 8 teams, any of those teams can win the Super Bowl, depending on who they play in these upcoming matchups. Now, moving on to another segment, we got the coaching carousel. We got 3 coaches who have left their respective organizations. Was you can say a fallout? No, they just didn't perform up to the standards of what these owners was looking for. Now, the first one is a coach who retired, Nick Saban. Now, this is a guy who is going to be a Hall of Fame coach who, in some eyes, is the best coach in the history of college football. He has 7 national championships, 6 with Alabama, 1 with LSU, 12 conference championships. He has 2 at LSU and 9 with Alabama. And now he has 19 bowl wins. He has a 19-12 record. He only missed 1 bowl game with Michigan State in 1998 with a 6-6 record. And that only happened in his 28 years of coaching. He's missed 1 bowl game. He has 5 SEC Coach of the Year awards, and he has a 15-17 record in 2 years with the Dolphins. So he has a stint as an NFL head coach. Wasn't a pretty good one, but he has coached NFL players. He has coached the adults, the people who made it. But he's best remembered as the Alabama Crimson Tide head coach. And he has finally said, it's up. I'm going to put my whistle down, taking the hat off. I'm sitting down and I'm going to relax. He's retired. I didn't see this happening. It was unexpected, but you got to give him a round of applause for the type of career he has. And it was good. It was really
Listen, man, one of my all-time favorites. I am a person who just loves and appreciate excellence. And Nick Saban have exuded that for many, many years. But this is all I have to say about this topic outside of giving Nick Saban his flowers. One of them ones, pure excellence. You cannot ignore that.
Yes.
I just don't understand how y'all can let that man go out on a QB draw to get to the championship. That is a sad way to go out. Y'all need to stop running quarterback draws and quarterback counters on the goal line. Like, it's not working.
You think they should have done the Philly special? Not the Philly special, but the tush push. Think that would have worked?
They should have did a rollout play to give the man either a play. They should have ran a pass play and gave him at least a chance to run it in after a drop back or roll out, give him some options to throw the ball and run it in. I would have been much better ending up on that play than a straight QB draw / counter. And the way that the Eagles let Jason Kelsey go, why y'all let that man go out like that? That's just y'all can't let our heroes go out like that. Y'all just cannot let our heroes go out like that.
The Eagles season's over, man. Let him put it to rest, man. Stop stressing yourself out. You guys folded. It's over.
Y'all can't let these people go. Our heroes
folded. Now the next coach, though, y'all gave him one of his Super Bowl losses, and your only Super Bowl victory. You've been to the Super Bowl 3 times. You're beating the Patriots. You lost to the Patriots and you lost to the Chiefs. We're not going to talk about last year. We're just going to focus on 2007. Bill Belichick, the Patriots head coach. The Patriots and Bill Belichick part ways. Now, after Tom Brady left and went with free agency, he left. He got released. Bill Belichick and the Patriots had a record 29-38 in 1 playoff appearance. He finished in 2023 with his worst record at 4-13, and he finished in last place in the AFC conference. Not the division only, but the conference. Out of 16 teams, the Patriots were the worst team. Their picking in the top 5 draft this year. So who knows? They could get Drake May. They could steal Marvin Harris. They need to go quarterback.
They need to go quarterback.
That's all I gotta say. Nothing else. They gotta go quarterback. But this coach right here, Nick, okay, and Bill, he is just one of the best coaches in NFL history, possibly in sports history. Now, what he has done with the Patriots, he's won 17 AFC East division titles consecutively.
He's another one, man. It's like these, like people like Nick Saban, people like Bill Belichick, they've written the book on the our football for our generation. Like when we think of football, like these are the people that laid the foundation for us. Like these are the people we admired and we looked up to, and who really like who made up our definition of the game. And to see some of our heroes like a Tom Brady, a Nick Saban, a Bill Belichick go and exit from the game, it's tough because you start realizing like you really getting older.
Yeah.
But it's also like you can't do nothing but give these people their flowers because, like I said, they wrote the book on what football is for us.
And the only team in that run of 17 AFC East divisional titles, I mean, Dolphins were able to win the division 2009, but he dominated that division and went on to make 13 appearances in the AFC Championship game and win 6 Super Bowls out of 9, 2 losses to the Giants and 1 loss to the Eagles. And just an amazing career. He had a stellar career, and he's still coaching to this day to get the most wins in NFL history as a head coach. Now, the next coach next to him, who's also parted ways with their team, these two, Bill Belichick and Pete Carroll, both were the two coaches named to the NFL's 2010 all-decade team. Both coaches. Now, Pete Carroll, in his 18 years of coaching, he has a record of 170 wins to 120 losses and 1 tie. Now, it's tied 15 most wins in NFL history. And he has a 58.6% win percentage, ranking him 46th among coaches. And he's tied 7th all time in playoff appearances at 12 with 10 playoff wins. We had along with that a Super Bowl victory, blowing out the Denver Broncos.
Yes, sirski.
Now, these 3 coaches, Nick Saban, Bill Belichick, Pete Carroll, all of them leaving at the same time, just days apart, is just astronomical. This is a change that's taking place, that's taking us into this new era of football where we're going to miss these coaches being in these places, but it's going to be familiar faces in new places. Nick Saban going to be on the couch at home, relaxing, probably doing film studies. But Bill Belichick, I feel like off his second visit with the Atlanta Falcons today, might be down south.
I don't know.
Might be in the dome. Pete Carroll might return back to Seattle and be in the front office. We'll see, though. We'll see what's going to happen with these coaches, but definitely appreciate them for what they have done for us. Just watching just stellar football. I mean, the way they coach, they're just mentors to the game for up and coming coaches right now, how they want to instill the wisdom into their players, how they want to really coach and teach these individuals. I think you can look to Bill Belichick, Nick Saban, and Pete Carroll to establish that atmosphere, establish that environment, that team that you need. You know, so those are 3 coaches I think that we definitely ought to appreciate because they changed the game forever. They really have.
Yeah, definitely. Like we gotta acknowledge and appreciate excellence whenever it comes in our our bubble. And that's something that we don't do. I feel like we always are quick to bring up what's flawed, but we aren't as quick to bring up excellence. And those three people, especially Nick, Uncle Nicky, and Uncle Bill, I mean, it's excellence. And those are definitely two coaches that I definitely looked up to, and I wanted to be a part of their culture growing up.
Mm-hmm. I respect that, man. And they just built wonderful foundations that just were sustainable for years. And the amount of championships that they was able to get to and capture just shows you it's a testament to how you need to lead by example, how you're building these morales within your team and establishing that foundation, that camaraderie amongst those players, and the continuity just with being that one piece right there at the head coach position. Definitely. And guys, this is gonna be a fun weekend of football. We got 4 games taking place. I got the Ravens, I got the Bills, I got the Lions, I got the 49ers taking it all home, making it to the championship game next week. It's going to be a great week of football, man. I hope everybody enjoys their weekend. Be safe, be on your P's and Q's. All right, the world is crazy, all right? The world is crazy at the moment. Please wake up. Don't just stay in your own system, stay in your own mindset. Be aware of what's going on in the current events. Have that empathy. Also protect yourself and enjoy yourselves this weekend. Be safe. All right. This is a day in a sports life with my co-host Jonavin. We are out.
Yeah.